All right, so it's been a hot little minute since I held my camera, not even gonna lie, but welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys liked the last one with me and Jay in Houston, with me at Alphaland, along with me by myself training back. I think I trained back most of those sessions. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an in-depth video on that because everybody always asking me, how you grow that thing back there? How you grow that thing? And you know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I have put on a lot of lean muscle for the back. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoy this one as well. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a push day workout. You guys are gonna actually hear me talk a whole lot more from here on out during the videos, like during the actual workouts, because I want to make this a more educational thing as well. Like a lot of times I'm just kind of working out, pushing through, but I want this to be more educational as well. If you guys don't know, I've just started taking online clients as well. So if you guys are interested in that, shoot me an email. I'll put my email directly below. You guys shoot me an email saying that you're looking to train, and we can set up a day for a consultation. The consultations are complimentary right now since I'm not holding any clients. I want to get some guys in and get them started, and I want to create a community of people who trust in me, and I trust that they're going to get the results that they're looking for. You know, but now we're gonna jump into this push day. From here, I'm gonna give you guys 5 tips or 5 steps on what you can be doing to maximize your fat loss and your entire weight loss journey. Because if you guys didn't know, burning fat and fat loss are 2 separate things. A lot of times they can go hand in hand, but a lot of times you don't need to do one while doing the other. And you might be doing one when you're looking for the other one. So we'll talk a little more about that as well. But like I said, man, hopefully you guys like this one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Love to see you guys here. Make sure you guys hit that sub button, comment on the video, like it, do whatever you want, dislike it if you don't like it, but just hit the dislike button twice if you can. And yeah, hopefully y'all like these 5 steps along with this push day.
Sexy.
Can I just part of my manners?
Hey. Woo.
Hey. Copyright shit. Alright, let's work. By the way, before you stop recording, this tank, I don't really wear a lot of tanks for just random ass people or random ass friends because a lot of them are like shitty as hell.
Period.
This bro right here, GPT, they dropped the banger. I had a shirt on, took it off because I said, you know what, the tank is gonna do the job.
And so are the muscles, but we
right.
can talk about
so
it.
I fuck with this tank a whole lot. It's just like compression, it fits to the body. This is an extra large, by the way. That's crazy. This looks like a small or a medium. I should have got some shit like a medium, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, tank, GPT the brand, use code SHEB, use code BASH, use code SWOLE, or MILES. All 4 of them boys are over there with me. Alright, so we just started off with a couple of warm-up sets. I ended up doing 2 because I switched machines, but that goes back to what I want to talk about for a sec. If you guys are training, make sure you're training that for convenience too. If you see all these people on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok going fucking stupid with the workouts that they're doing, like having everything in their arsenal, it's also based on like the way their gym is built. So go based off the way your gym is built. You know, like for example, right now I'm doing chest press and I'm super set at my lateral raises and front raises because I can't sit there and go and get every last cable machine. Like go on and put the camera on the cable machine. The machine's over here, so like train based off convenience and what you have access to as well. Accessibility, usability, and what you really want to be looking for as well. But about to knock out probably like 2 sets of this. I'm gonna try to do slow and controlled. Chest felt a little tight just now. I don't want to tweak it or nothing like that. I'm not trying to get hurt. But from there, we'll knock out our lateral raises, work into some more overhead presses, some chest flies, and a little bit of triceps as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, so somebody asked me just now while I was in here, what's the difference between just doing one rope and using 2 ropes to make a longer rope, essentially? Well, the reason being is because when I use one rope, right, hold this like this, it's a lot harder for me to lock out and get that full extension, right? So I like to tuck the arms behind me to be slightly behind my lats so that I can get a full extension with the tricep. It's harder to do that with one rope. So some gyms already have like that one single rope. You get 2 of those, you can do that with this. Or you can just create your own out of 2 ropes that are already made. All right, nice little tip. All right, guys, so as promised, I have 5 tips on how you could be looking to lose body fat sustainably on a regular basis. This is gonna save you a whole lot of time and sanity in the long run. That's the entire goal with what I'm trying to teach you here. Now, just to start off, of course, everybody already knows this, and if you don't know because you've been living up under a rock, welcome to the channel. I'm M3 Colby, lost over 100 pounds in the span of about a year, done sustainably and efficiently. All right, in other words, I got done in a good amount of time and it was not too much stress on my mental or physical health over time. Because if you guys do know, when you do go through the process of either losing weight or gaining weight, you can put a lot of stress on your body mentally or physically. But just to go ahead and get that out the way, everybody already does know as well that you have to be in a caloric deficit. That's the first thing, of course, that comes with you losing body fat. Everything will be timestamped in the video. If you guys did not already see this video in a shortened version, it was already on the Instagram as well as on the TikTok. I posted it once or twice already, but I decided to remake it in a longer form so that I can really go in depth with a couple of the ideas and things that I actually stated, because I had a lot of questions about certain things. But let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Number 1, of course, is you have to be in a caloric deficit to lose body fat. That's initially what you have to do. Over time, the longer you're in a deficit, usually the more weight you will lose typically. But if you go too deep into a deficit, it will add more stress to your body. And there's this thing that we like to call thermogenic adaptation, where your body will start to adapt to the new intake that you've been giving it for that extended period of time. That's why a lot of times people, they lose like 50 pounds and they just stop out of nowhere, and then if they eat more, they start gaining weight. Well, it's because your body a lot of times will adapt. Sometimes you have to incorporate different things like refeeds, little cheat meals here and there, which also can be classified as refeeds. Of course, you definitely want to go in depth with that and do your own research and figure out what works best for you. I have a nutritional coaching guide in my bio that talks a whole lot about sustainable eating and how you can be measuring your intake. I will be updating it so it talks a little bit more about cheat meals and cheat days and refeeds and the whole nine, so you guys have more knowledge on that, and about how you can be looking to get out of a deficit once you're done losing weight, how to get back to pretty much living a sustainable, normal lifestyle while still looking your best at the same time. Now, in order to find your deficit, you want to make sure you go do 3 things. All right, 1 is to start measuring out what you're currently eating. Okay, measure out what you're currently eating. You can figure out, let's say after 3 to 7 days, including like a weekend or 2, to figure out what you're currently eating, because a lot of times people's eating habits can vary on the weekend. A lot of times you want to measure what you're eating on the weekend as well, because a lot of times you may be having drinks or going out with family and friends and having things that you typically wouldn't have during the week when you're thinking that you're on track. In reality, we want to get completely rid of that mindset of thinking that we're either off track or on track. Everything is a part of the lifestyle at one point. All right, that's just what we want to make it. We want to make it all one track. All right, there is no left or right. It's just on go. All right, that's initially what we want to do. But you want to measure out what you're currently eating and figure out what your maintenance calories is. All right, we have a caloric deficit. We also have a surplus. Most people are in a surplus because the average person, at least here in America, the average person in America is eating about 5 times their daily intake, recommended intake. Now, there are some people who are eating well below that, all right? And of course, different health conditions can come into play like PCOS, lupus, epilepsy, all those other nines. But at the same time, if you have any of those conditions, you probably want to consult with a registered dietitian or your primary doctor to figure out your best route and different diets that may work better for you based on your conditions and the hormones that your body, you know, is pretty much producing. Now, when it comes to being in a deficit, number 2, the second thing you want to probably do is go and find a calorie calculator on Google to figure out what your BMR is and to figure out what it tells you to eat into. Now, the reason why there's a number 3 on this list, because you don't just want to do this one time. Number 3 is to check a total daily energy expenditure calculator. Total daily energy expenditure is your daily activities mixed in with your non-exercise activity that you do on a daily basis, and that comes to burn all of the calories that you probably burn overall. All All right, so for example, you're not just burning 2,000 calories a day like the regular calorie calculator says from your BMR. You're also burning calories from doing simple stuff like walking, eating, drinking a bottle of water, drinking a soda, standing up, sitting down, doing your office work, doing whatever you're doing. You're burning calories doing that stuff as well. All right, just want to let you guys know that, just so you guys are not confused. You're probably going to burn more calories laying down and doing other stuff that you wouldn't think would actually burn calories versus you actually going to the gym. The gym only amounts for about 10% of your daily energy expenditure. That's just the way the ball rolls. And if you guys are using Apple Watches, or you guys are using any other type of Fitbits or any type of things to measure out calories, a lot of those things are off by up to 30 to 40%. All right, so remember that just because those things say that you burn 1,000 calories in a workout, the odds are that you really didn't burn that much, okay? That's just the odds. The odds that you probably burn maybe like 400 calories, at most 500 calories, because after you start burning through a certain amount of calories, your body is gonna actually adjust itself based on that total daily energy expenditure to burn less calories throughout the rest of the day or even the rest of the week. So you end up losing less fat over time. So that's why you want to be real mindful of how much energy you're expending throughout the days or the weeks and how much stress is actually applying to your body. Now, if you're a super tremendous athlete or somebody who's been in the military, things will vary for you. You probably have to be extremely active. Somebody like myself, I have to be extremely active. I have to go for runs. I have to, always be walking at least 10 to 15,000 steps a day because I come from a very athletic background and I burn a lot of calories throughout the day just moving. But usually you can simply just adjust burning more calories by going for a simple walk, doing more active activities like going skating or getting a stand-up desk, or taking more frequent like bathroom breaks at work, like where you go like maybe just take a few steps to get up out of your chair for a bit. But those things could apply a lot more to your weight loss goal than you actually thought. So that covers number 1 as far as your total daily energy expenditure calculator, your regular BMR calculator or just calorie calculator, and then also what you should be doing to find your maintenance as far as measuring out all your meals. Let's go ahead and jump straight into number 2. Number 2 is really important because a lot of people do this and they wonder why they end up crash dieting, binge eating, or all of those things that you probably don't want to be a part of. A lot of times people start doing this stuff because they veer off too much from their current nutritional habits. Let me tell you something right now. You eat the way you do right now because you like the way you eat. That just is what it is. And if you honestly don't like the way you eat, something about you does. If you like having pizza and wings and burgers and french fries and fried food, all this other stuff on a daily basis, or you like going out with, to grab a drink on the weekend with your friends or family, you obviously like doing that stuff. If you try to cut that stuff out too fast or at all, like you cut it all off, typically you're gonna end up rebounding directly back to where you started at. All right, that's why most people, after they lose weight, typically they gain about 2/3 of it back because they try and go and live that recent lifestyle. Here is how you keep from doing that. You just simply switch some of your habits to mimic the ones you're currently doing, but in a healthier way. For example, if you're used to choosing going out for ice cream with your friends, then simply go grab a nice tub of low-calorie ice cream from the store and y'all go sit in the park and eat it, right? It's stuff like that that you can still have that enjoyable moment, but at the same time, you still keep the ice cream, but it's a healthier option. And some of y'all are probably looking at me like, oh, Colby, you're crazy. I'm not gonna sit there and go get some ice cream from the store and then have to go to the park. I'll be real with you. Sacrifices have to be made, and if you're not willing to sacrifice some things, then guess what? Your goal is going to be sacrificed at the end of the day. So number 3, prioritize your protein intake. Every time I DM somebody this, or I get a message, or somebody asks me, hey Colby, how do you prioritize your protein intake? With all your meals, make sure you have a good, adequate amount of protein. What I mean is a little bit over 15 grams per meal if you can. And when it comes to snacks, something over 6 grams. If you even have to have anything over 6 grams. Like, I'll be real with you, if you have to have a protein snack, sure, have one. But there's plenty of things out there that have a lot of protein in it. Greek yogurt has a good amount of protein in it. Protein bars, protein shakes, which are great, especially out of convenience. You got protein chips nowadays. You can choose so many ways to incorporate more protein into your diet. And yes, these are not things that you should be looking to get all your protein from, because these are incomplete protein sources. Things like snacks and chips, they allow for you to have a lot more protein in your diet that way. And more protein in your diet is typically more satiating. It leads to you usually eating less. That's initially what will happen. Now, when I say prioritize your protein intake as well, how much protein should you be having? Well, you should be having about I usually say about 0.6 to about 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. And the reason why I say lean body weight is because I have a lot of clientele, as well as a lot of people who follow my channel who are usually overweight or obese. That is not weight that you want to account for when it comes to, you know, your protein intake. You can, but I can promise you this, it's going to be extremely hard for you to get those numbers that you're looking for when it comes to getting a pound per pound of body weight. We're going to jump straight into number 4, which is strength training. All right. A lot of people think that if they strength train, they don't have to do cardio. Sorry to break it to you. All right. But here's the facts. Strength training does not burn more calories than cardio. That's exactly what it is. You can go and search this up, and you can read recent articles and recent studies if you want to. It's been proven that it does not burn as many calories as cardio. Does that mean you don't do it? No, because your entire goal is not just to burn calories throughout your journey. Your goal is to keep as much lean muscle mass as possible. All right, that's the entire goal of the journey, is keep as much lean muscle mass as possible while shredding away at the body fat, so that you don't look like a skinny fat when you get towards your goal, all right, or what you thought was your goal. A lot of times, you keeping a good amount of lean muscle will keep you from thinking that you have to be at a certain body weight. All right, and what I mean by that is, a lot of times, the more you strength train, all right, along with eating at a higher protein intake, getting the proper rest and recovery, is you start to look better because you're retaining more lean muscle mass. Now, Colby, how many times do I strength train per week? Okay, well, typically, most splits will run you about 2 to 3 days, okay? Usually you're doing maybe an upper lower, maybe you're doing push-pull legs, maybe you're doing chest and back along with legs, along with shoulders and arms, which is an Arnold split. Maybe you're doing your own made-up split, but typically they run about 2 or 3 days. Is that the more you strength train, the more it becomes a habit, the easier you get used to that habit, and the more sustainable the lifestyle becomes, all right? The thing is that you're not gonna get towards your goal practicing mediocre habits like going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. All right, and even if you got towards your weight goal, you're not gonna look how you really wanna look. That's just the facts behind it. That does not mean you have to go every day, but going majority of the week is a lot better, because it's a lot easier to stick to a habit that's done on a daily basis, or at least on a bi-daily basis, I would say, than it is to stick to a habit that's done once or twice a week. All right, now, number 5, and the final tip is, like I stated in the last tip, is to get your cardio in, okay? Get your extra activity, your cardiovascular activity, get that shit in. And I don't mean to curse on here right now, but I do just want to say it is super important, like, to get your cardiovascular activity in. Look, studies show that just 30 to 60 minutes of extra activity per day would solve things like obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, any type of chronic disease that you think of. A lot of them can be solved by you just doing an extra 30 minutes to 60 minutes per day. The goal with cardio, a lot of times when you're losing weight, is to burn as many calories as possible along with fat burning. Now, we want to be at a steady pace of doing something, or at least an interval pace. That's typically where I keep guys at as far as clientele. Now, if you guys have your own styles that you like, to each his own. All right, I'm just going based off of the research that I know about and the things that I know. So if you guys want to fact check or figure out better ways or better alternatives for yourself, by all means, go ahead and do so. But steady state cardio or HIIT cardio are typically the 2 forms that I would usually recommend to anybody, any of my clientele who actually want to see the progress either that I've seen or others have seen that they actually enjoy. Now, as far as steady state cardio goes, that's typically like a nice incline walk, or even Stairmaster or elliptical, or even the seated bike. When it comes to how much cardio you want to be doing on a daily basis, like I already said, around 30 to 60 minutes per day, that's around 5,000 to 15,000 steps per day. All right. Now, on a weekly basis, typically you want to get around 150 minutes in per week, minimum. I will be honest with you. That's like the baseline. 150 minutes per week is 30 minutes a day for 5 days. If you can't go Monday through Friday for 30 minutes a day, that's all good. Go on a weekend for about an hour instead, or go try to boot camp or a Zumba class. Do what you got to do. But there are so many alternatives for you to get active. There is no excuse. There are so many activities for you to do to get active nowadays. You can go skating. You can go walk at the zoo. You can go to the beach. You can go to a lake if you guys don't live near a beach. You guys can go see scenery if you guys live in places where, you know, with mountain terrains and things of that nature. I just released the M3 workout guide. In other words, training manual, whichever one you want to call it. But it is literally an ultimate guide to working out, and literally you get in the best shape of your life aside from the nutrition things. It talks about the cardiovascular side, the central nervous system, the muscular system, reps, sets, weights, has built-in splits and workouts with effort already placed into it. So how much effort you should be giving, which if you guys do know, rate of registered perceived exertion is your RPE. I have that built into each movement that you do, so you guys can get a good idea of what you should be doing on any daily basis or how tough these things should be. All right, I even talk about things like isotonic and isometric. I'll talk about literally any basic component of hypertrophy that you probably would need to know of in order to build muscle. I appreciate y'all tuning into this video. If you guys did, like, comment, subscribe, and remember to keep being 1% better than the person you were yesterday. We out.